Hello, welcome to the Round 7 preview as the Carlton Football Club are set to take on the Geelong Cats at the MCG this Sunday, 3:20 p.m. I'm very excited to be doing this preview. Obviously, staying in the moment is important, but there's just something about this game which I think a lot of us had been looking ahead to when it came to the form line, and now we're here. And what I'm talking about is that thought around, okay, 0-4 happened, terrible position to be in, playing some pretty poor footy with sprinklings of good footy, but mostly poor execution. And then, the two opponents that we've had over the last few weeks, for whatever reason, it's been struck down a little bit. I mean, West Coast more than North. I don't think many people expected an 82-point win against North Melbourne. But once it does happen, it pretty quickly goes to, okay, well, it won't mean as much compared to if you do it against Geelong. And here we are. So I am feeling like this is a knife's edge type game. Let me explain. So on the one hand, a lot of people jumped off with their belief around this year. And fair enough. However, it's the if, and it's the hope that does suck you in, and the hope that does kill you sometimes in the end if things just go back to where we thought they were at 0-4 and things were just not working. But just if the Blues are able to win on Sunday, I really do feel like it's going to go a long way into igniting the Carlton story for 2025. I think it must be said they've done a pretty good job of just getting back to it, cracking in, making the adjustments, and getting back on the horse after a poor start to the season. But ultimately, it doesn't really feel like it starts unless a couple of good wins come. And this is what the next couple of days is for Carlton, in my view. And this is what the next month is for Carlton. Like the opponents that are coming up, there can be no question around their credentials. And I do think that is a bit unfair as well, because I think we shouldn't be so dismissive of good performances. I mean, you still have to go out and perform against who you're playing. And so I'm not being dismissive of North Melbourne or West Coast as much, but there is also such a level of respect for Geelong, which I think all of us have. We always have had that level of respect for Geelong because they've just been great, consistently great for a long period of time. And it feels like it wasn't long ago, on that magical night at the MCG the last time we played the Cats, where it all seemingly came together. The ball movement was elite. The 45 angle kicks, the short kicks, the zigging, the zagging, the even spread of goal kickers, De Koning dominating in the ruck, Elijah Hollands playing at a really high level, Sam Walsh hitting the scoreboard, like all, the elements of the best of Carlton were on display. And I still can't believe how much that night convinced me and a lot of us that it was the real deal. And that's why I put so much gravity into this Sunday, because I think everyone knows if you beat Geelong, then you're a bona fide team, because only good teams can beat Geelong for the most part. And if you're a Cats fan, I think that's a compliment. That's the ultimate compliment. Like, such is the respect that I know I and a lot of Carlton fans have for Geelong as a team and as a club. So, yeah, that night was... Oh man, that's the best of the Carlton experience. Fans calling in on the fan cams after the game, fans booking their flights home for September. We thought we were the real deal, and obviously it just, they let it slip. And it just sucks how high you can go and how much you can get sucked in, and then it can seemingly burst. So here's to hoping that this Sunday is a return to that type of form, because if that type of form returns and we're able to go on a run, then you start getting the momentum. Momentum's so hard to find, and Carlton finds itself in a position where momentum can be found with a win this week. And then all of a sudden you can turn 0-4 into 3-4 going into the next little bit of the season. So I am confident that this will be a close game. I am. I think the Blues are playing with some confidence in their application, particularly with their pressure. Chris Scott spoke a lot prior to the Easter Monday game around the need to put the pressure on the Hawks because they identified that Hawthorn were elite kicks. And I'm interested to know what the number one priority at Geelong would be, because I wouldn't have thought if you're coming up against Carlton, you're going to have a priority number one of being, not to say that they won't put time into their pressure on Carlton's kicks, but I think you look at Carlton more so at stoppage and clearance and the contested ball, because that's where we can really hurt Geelong. And there were even patches in that game on Easter Monday where the Hawks gained ascendancy at stoppage, and I believe Carlton have better players around stoppage as well, who are now starting to find some really good form. So yeah, I think we have what it takes to beat Geelong. The question is whether or not we capitalise on our opportunities and whether or not we can show another layer of improvement with our efficiency, because we will not be getting away with many skill errors against the Cats. If we turn the ball over in certain parts of the ground, they punish. They've always been that way. And the way I watch Geelong now, I'm so impressed with it's their poise and their ability to manage a game when it gets out of their control and turn it around and find the goal that they need when they need it. And when the pressure and the intensity of the game lifts, they're just able to think their way through. So it'd take a mighty effort to beat them, but I do think it's possible. I think anything's possible. In fact, I know anything's possible in this league. I was at training this week, or today. I'm filming this on Wednesday. I was at training this morning. If you haven't watched the training report and the training highlights, go and check it out. But the notable themes from training, I think Jacob Wiedering, he's a sore boy. He's a sore man. Is he going to play? I think he'll play. I think eventually he'll play. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, though. He just looked proppy, copped a pretty nasty knock. And so if he plays, great. He's extremely valuable to the team. If he doesn't play, it is what it is. It might be an opportunity for Lewis Young to go play in defence on a needs basis. Harry Mackay did a full session. He was out there doing everything that I saw. My question mark around Harry is the number of head knocks that he's had and just being cautious with him. But at the end of the day, if he puts his hand up and he's deemed fit to play, then I don't see a reason why he shouldn't play. It would be, I would guess it would be for Lewis Young. That's so stiff though, because I think Lewis has played a role, but this is the nature of the beast. Harry Mackay is that type of player where if he's available, he is that good. He is that he does possess that quality where if he's available, you got to play him. And also I think the best version of Carlton is when Harry and Charlie are playing. So that's the only change I really forecast. Like Lockie Cowan was out there and he looked fine. He moved well, looked ready to go. That question then turns into, do you take out a young Matt Carroll and play Lockie Cowan in the same role? That's something we'll find out Friday. Final teams will come out on Friday for the Sunday game. But other than that, I don't picture there being too many changes, and nor should there be. The VFL did play last week, and there were some solid performances. Francis Evans and Mark Pitternet were the only two of note who were listed in the best players. Harry Lemmy had some nice moments with some shots on goal. So did Ashton Moyer, but I don't think either of them are ready to play just yet. Especially when Harry Mackay is in the frame to play and Lewis Young is doing his job. So that's an interesting proposition there. For the Cats, they lose Brian Myers, who he's one of my favourites at Geelong. His skill level is immense and we don't really traditionally have a matchup for him. So he is out, I believe, with concussion after that nasty hit at the hands of Connor Nash. So that actually plays into Carlton's hands. But the other one, Tom Stewart played last time, but we had Chincotta playing that role on Tom Stewart. So how we match up on Tom Stewart this Sunday is an important factor because I also do believe he is that good of a player, particularly behind the ball and just wherever he is. He's just such a smart, intelligent, tough footballer. So yeah, there's a few questions and a few themes to this week, but ultimately it's just so important a win, what it would do for the confidence levels of the fan base. And I do believe it would bring in a lot more belief that was lost over the first month. I believe it would help bring some belief back and maybe help the momentum go. And, we all know what it's like when Carlton are up and about and momentum is there and confidence is there. And, when you've got the players having confidence, the fans having confidence, that all gels together and it becomes a really good experience. And I guess it is a good reminder of how things can change in footy. But you've got to win first. First and foremost, got to find a way to get the job done. So that's where I'm thinking about. That's where my mind's at. What about you? What do you think about this week? What does the proposition of a win do as opposed to a loss? Like, how do you actually go into this game with your thoughts? I'd love to understand that from your point of view. The Cheer Squad raffle is back. There is a signed Charlie Curnow Guernsey up for grabs, so be sure to enter that. I'll put the link to enter down below in the description of this video. Charlie's primed, I feel. He's had quite a few weeks in the system now after a bit of an interrupted preseason with some surgeries, and I think he's primed. And I also love this matchup at the G. I still remember so many of them where Charlie and Jeremy Cameron have battled it out, and you don't get to see too many shootouts with the key forwards, but this could be one of those nights. I still remember 2022. That was a great night. Even 2023. There have been some really great battles. So I'm excited. I'm pumped for the game. I'm loving a renewed sense of optimism. Although for me, it's not hard to find optimism. I love going to watch Carlton play. I hate it when things are bad. I don't like to be angry and sad and negative. I really don't like it at all. Like 1 loss, 2 losses in a row, I can kind of handle. 3 is borderline. 4 losses in a row, which becomes 5. It's just too much. So, yeah, I just want... The idea that the season was over after a month was always pretty wild to me, but it did look pretty grim. It did look disconnected. So let's just hope that confidence actually was found over the last fortnight and that can be carried into a strong performance against Geelong, and hopefully a win will get everyone back on side. So we'll go from there. Chat to you soon. Gather your thoughts in the comments below. Go Blues.